second 10,000 meter. By Robinson of Stanford scheduled to be in the field. He had the fastest 5K of the day.
Along with Carlin Isles, Mike Rice, under the lights at Cobb Field, or hold on, Cobb Track in Angel Field. Got to get that right, even at this late hour. 13 plus hours into our Stanford Invitational coverage here on FloTrack, and we've said it throughout. We'll say it throughout the day tomorrow. We sure appreciate all of you being with us in the 10,000. You saw that name, Cole Sprout. We saw him in one of the first 5,000 men's heats some 13 hours, 12 hours ago. Stanford runner, technically running unattached, but he is with the Cardinal. And we will do all this again in the men's invitational. It'll give us a chance here over these 10,000 meter heats, Carlin, to look ahead to Paris a little bit. I certainly want to get your thoughts on not only the process of determining the Olympic team, but maybe some of the prospects as well for Team USA. 10,000 meter field. Now they back away for a moment. And called to mark. And this 26, 27, 28 minute adventure has begun in the men's invitational. Carlin, with your background in track, I'm just always fascinated by comparisons to sports that the general public simply follow more. And if we were in Europe, we couldn't say that because track overseas is extremely popular. But here in the States, you think about football, basketball, baseball teams and sustaining that excellence, and yet you think of these athletes as Cole Sprout has jumped to the front of the field and setting the pace. All of these runners, or most of them, were elite runners at the lower levels as youngsters, high schoolers, many of them in college, some of them pros now. And we see the pyramid as you go up it, and the skill level. You think about just over 20,000 baseball players have ever made it to the major leagues. Is there a parallel when you talk about elite track and field, just that sort of that stepping stone as you get to the elite, the Olympics, the Olympic level, and then the elite Olympic level where you're challenging for a podium spot?
Yes, and as we all know that the U.S. is the hardest team to make out of any country. The competitiveness, the talent pool that we have is unmatched, and it's so hard, and that's why, you know, a small percentage is able to represent their country, because the Olympics and making the Olympics and the Olympic trials for the U.S. is so hard, and it's incredibly challenging that you know what, as you go through the ranks and you become a professional or try to be a professional athlete, that margin of, you know, that 1% that you're trying to, you know, be better and trying to be the best, it's going to take everything out of you. And it's going back to the drawing board every day, kind of assessing and seeing, okay, I need to improve. How do I improve? And it's hard, especially as you know, you put a lot of wear and tear on your body. You're breaking down, you're using your energy source and nervous systems and over again. And, you know, you got to have the right programming, and not everybody has the right programming when you become a pro. And if you don't have the right programming, it's going to be hard to transition into the professional world.
And that sort of springboards us into Paris 2024. Take us through some of the process, because the competition to make the Olympic team might be tougher than some of the heats that many of Team USA members will face in the Olympics, or the toughest competition in the games in Paris will be their own teammates.
It is, and I think, you know, you got to take it heat by heat, and there's rounds that you got to run, and so you kind of got to bring your A game every round, unless you know in that round that you're a favorite, and even that you still can't be too confident in. And I think it's so competitive when it comes to the Olympic trials that, you know, it's only a handful of spots in the top 3 that make it, and you want to be in that top 3, and as long as you're in that top 3, you're going to be happy. But everything has to come together. The training, the timing, no injuries, no setbacks. One setback can set you back. It could be a month, it could be 2 months. And going into the Olympic trials, one thing you don't want is any doubt and any negative thoughts that's going into your mind, because you weren't able to train the way you want to be. You were able to train.
What's the timetable? Take us through some of that as in the lead up to Paris.
So the Olympic trials, I believe, is in June.
Right.
And so, you know, depending on where you're at, you know, you might be in the first half or the second half of the trials. And from then, you know, once you qualify, you may have maybe a few weeks. You're going to go to training camp. You're going to go back, you know, hopefully there's no injuries. And, you know, if you're in a relay pool, and you're just going to get ready. And then once you go to the Olympics, you know, you got your rounds for that as well. And hopefully you try to make it through that and get to the final. And in any championship or Olympics, the main thing is I need to get to the final. And if I'm able to get to the final, I know I have a chance. And that's at the Olympic trials, that's at the Olympics, that's at the Worlds. You just need to make top 8.
Top 8 in the trials.
Just make it to the finals. That's all you need to do, make it to the finals, because it's anybody's game after that.
Yeah, and we haven't even touched on that. At the elite level, say the Olympics, World Championships, what have you, the unpredictability factor, it's real. You can't guarantee anything. Just because you've had a great season or just because you had a great trials, that doesn't guarantee you any kind of medal when the lights are on and it's time to race for the top spot on the podium.
Correct, because there's so many external factors that come into play. And, you know, there's people who can rise to the occasion, and there's some that can't. You know, a lot of people there might be their first Olympics and they never experienced that. You know, there's millions of people that's watching you on TV, and at this moment I have to be the best that I can be, and I have to win that moment. And so if you're not ready for it, if you haven't done the work and the psychological work and the preparation to handle that type, and sometimes you need experience. You know, the best people sometimes are able to deal with pressure and have the experience. And with the younger, you got to be different, especially if you're young and it's your first Olympics or first team that you made. You know, your mindset, you have to quickly adapt, because you don't want to just go to the Olympics just to go and say I've been there. But you're going to try to win. You're going to try to win a medal and bring something back home from your country, for your country.
Because the fact is, you can have all the talent, have the pedigree, but when that opportunity comes, you can't guarantee it'll come again.
Correct. And most people think, and sometimes they think that, and you may be at the best at your event and think that, okay, in the next 4 years, or I've been doing well leading up to it, that I know I'm going to get it, but nothing is guaranteed, nothing. And so when that moment comes, you have to seize it. You have to seize it because it might not ever come ever again.
Cole Sprout still in the lead, some nearly 7.5 minutes. You see a couple of Arkansas Razorbacks, Karami Yego and Patrick Kiprop in the top 5. Cole Sprout, his college best at this distance, 27:42.42. Interesting about Cole, he's such a versatile runner. I mean, he can and has run everything from the 800 up to the 10,000 and the 10K, the 8K. I mean, he has run distances. Now, where he settles as far as his specialty, maybe TBD, to be determined, but the versatility is amazing. Again, we talked about it earlier. Clearly, he was using that 5,000 heat as he was sort of the chase rabbit, if you will, who dropped out of the race partway through, which we've seen throughout the day. It was most likely just a training run, right, for tonight to make sure he was in form for this 10,000. But Cole Sprout out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
Get you at least halfway there.
Valor Christian High School. Personal best, or at least his college best in the 800 is 151.79. The 1500, 342.27. He's got a 356 plus mile to his credit. 7:43.10 in the 3,000. Under 13:25 in the 5K, or the 5,000 meters, I should say. And he has been out front since the beginning. And we're about a third of the way through the race. 25 laps in this 10,000 meters.
You know, before the race started, I kind of saw some of these runners kind of do some excels, and it's crazy to kind of see how elastic they are and how fast they are as well.
Sprout running unattached in this invitational, but part of the Stanford program, a senior now. Symbolic systems major, a 5-time All-America. How about that?
Chandler Gibbons of Kansas has moved up into the top 8.
3-time West Region cross-country champion. 3-time Pac-12 cross-country team champion. And how about this? 7 times on the team he has been on, he has been academic honor roll.
Wow.
Kiprop and Yego, the 2 Arkansas runners, right in the mix. The field has spread out quite a bit. You can see them all trailing Cole Sprout. First team all Pac-12 this past cross-country season was Cole Sprout. 3rd at the Pac-12 championships in cross-country, so also taking part in the indoor season. That mile performance of 3:56.53 was his first sub-4 minute mile. That was at the UW indoor preview during the indoor season. A couple of years ago during his sophomore campaign, an All-America in the outdoor 10,000, 2nd team in the 5,000. And that's to say nothing of what he did in high school. And you say, what did he do, Mike? Pretty much everything. Honestly.
From the looks of it, there's nothing that this man can't do.
Kiprop still there now in second place. Valentin Soka of CBU in the mix in that top group. And now we might have a change at the leader spot here. Sprout's been in it pretty much throughout.
Vincent Churchill of New Mexico moves up into third overall. Sprout still out on the point.
Getting closer to the halfway mark, but still a long way to go, Carlin. So again, 25 laps. If you have been with us and are staying with us, I know that's repetitive, but I want to make sure we keep people up to date with the length of these races, and realistically, people watching and then getting the kids ready for bed and all the rest. If they're already not in bed, then let's hope it is a weekend, right? Easter weekend.
Some might have their laptops up or TVs on and have their feet crossed and comfy in bed with the covers and pillow and just watching away at with FloTrack.
Yeah, you know that there's either mom or dad who's the track aficionado, maybe an ex-runner that's going, come on, honey, I got to stay up.
I got to stay up.
I can't miss FloTrack's coverage of the Stanford Invitational. You know what? I'm not going into the other room. You turn over to the other side and close your eyes.
Close your eyes. Let me know how he or she is doing. My baby's running.
So there's Cole Sprout stepping aside and finishing his night. That's about the distance of a 5,000 that he just ran.
And that's probably what he's doing and what he did. You know, he used this as practice and pacing himself for racing, and he used this as a training.
So 2 5,000-meter races today for Cole Sprout. One in the morning to start the day, one in the evening right at the end of day one.
And that's just strip work, capacity work, to be able to repeat that, because when he goes to the Olympic trials, he's going to have to be able to repeat that over and over again. And so getting yourself in the right shape, in the right form, so he can be able to go out there and execute and be able to be strong, that's what he needs.
Tobias Chariot from Oklahoma, now the leader. And you see Patrick Kiprop of Arkansas on the inside right there as well. So leader's a little bit relative as those two are side by side. Perhaps Kiprop actually now as they get to the turn with a step.
Let's go, Aiden! You look strong!
Work our way to the second half of the race now. And now another new leader.
And New Mexico, Vincent Churchill to the lead.
Couple of New Mexico Lobos right there near the front of the pack in the red. Evans Kiplagat among them. Chariot still in the mix. Over 16 and a half minutes in now. Still about holding the pace, keeping the pace, figuring out where you want to be in a few laps, right?
Yep. They're still filling things out.
And Churchill of New Mexico are up front. Terry out of Oklahoma.
Vincent Chirchir of New Mexico now into the lead, with Evans Kiplagat right behind. Boy, this is a good middle portion of the race. Very competitive.
Gibbons of Kansas still right there in the mix.
Vincent Chirchir. He also a runner that has competed in some of the shorter distances, all the way as short as 800 meters. He has a sub 350, 1500.
Will Smith of Gonzaga now into the top 7.
Did that at the New Mexico Spring Invitational not even a week ago.
New Mexico. Soka of CPU challenging for the lead.
Now another new leader. CBU jumps into the front. So a lot of changing. Starting, Chirchir of New Mexico second.
I'm good. I'm fine. What do we got?
Over 19 minutes in as they come down the front stretch.
I'll just do this race and then you'll go to the next one. Take a nice little break.
Valentin Soka is the runner from CBU.
Yes.
He is still
10
leading this.
10 something? 10:30? Is it 10:30 right now?
Victor Kiprop of Alabama.
Yeah. I think I'm almost sure. I could be wrong. There's one more. I could be wrong. I don't see anybody warming up on the side.
Let the positioning
so
begin.
I
I don't think we've seen the last lead change in this race.
Men and women? Because we just did men. I mean women. This is men. Well, let's see what happens.
Soka. California Baptist University, Southern California. Soka appears to let others pass him. Again, don't want to make that assumption, but it sure appeared he slowed up a little bit. And now he's
hate it. That
back in a
sucks.
5th place position.
All the way around. I was over there
Kai Robinson
for like a couple
of Stanford
races. I got up there.
in the
I
mix
had
right
no
there.
idea we were live, but just getting up on the scaffolding, the whole thing was moving.
Sustaining that pace pretty well, 21 plus minutes. We're talking about 6-7 minutes to go for many of these lead racers. Robinson first right now. Patrick Kiprop of Arkansas
From here,
second.
it looks like a little man lift, but it's not
Victor
a scaffolding.
Kiprop of Alabama. Also right there towards the lead. You see him in 4th in the red. Saw him reach down a little bit. See if we can get a look if there's any kind of issue. Kai Robinson of Stanford, though, running in his home invitational, trying to see if he can hold on. First team All-America in the 5,000. Second at the NCAA championships at that distance. A lot of these long distance runners will use some of the shorter distances. Robinson no different. Approaching 23 minutes. And tight as a drum in that lead group. Robinson, also a senior out of Brisbane, Australia. Management science and engineering major. He also won the NCAA title at 10,000 meters in the outdoor season last year.
Here comes the field off the curve. Kai Robinson is out in front.
All these runners in the front seemingly effortless, not showing any glaring signs. What do you see, Carlin?
No, I see exactly the same as what you see. There's no strain. It's smooth, it's relaxed, it's effortless, and it's just tempo.
Robinson's personal best at this distance, 27:44:33, set last year. And I'm referring to his outdoor personal best. But still a little bit of work to do.
Robinson and Kiprop, Sosa, Kiprop, Kip and Getty.
Many of you may have seen the 10 men 10,000s run on Flow Sports a few weeks ago. That's becoming a premier event. We're so happy to be carrying that. Robinson won, Kiprop of Arkansas 2. Grant Fisher of Nike won that race. Sub 27. Man, oh man. That's moving. You think of Robinson's personal best at 27:44.
Oof.
Grant
It's
Fisher.
moving.
Yeah, it sure is. There's Robinson, though. Free-for-all is about to begin. Leaders around the final turn. Kai Robinson, that is a runner back of the pack that they're about to lap. And Evan Jenkins of Washington has moved to the front position.
Jenkins, Gonzaga. Smith of Gonzaga.
Jenkins, Kiplagat, Scomperin, Gibbons. There with purple and white is Evan Jenkins of Washington. And now Jenkins stretching it out a little bit.
Evan Jenkins of Washington.
And you can see him pick it up now. Here we go.
Will Smith and Gonzaga. The Bell Lampin is with the chase for 10,000.
Evan Jenkins trying to hold on down the backstretch. Passing a runner from Eastern Kentucky. Someone's got to find a kick here shortly. Easier said than done after 24 3/4 laps. Jenkins around the turn. And now Will Smith of Gonzaga, step for step, stride for stride, down the front stretch towards the line. Jenkins and Smith. Jenkins with a shade of a lead, and he'll hold on and win the men's 10,000 Invitational with Will Smith right on his heels. 28:04.58 for Evan Jenkins, and 1900ths behind was Will Smith and Loic Scamperine. 28:05.57. Pretty good finish between Jenkins and Smith. Boy, we didn't mention Jenkins' name once until the last couple of laps, Carlin. That's how it can go sometimes.
Yes, as you can see, Jenkins came out of nowhere and took the lead and didn't look back from it.
So there's the men's invitational, 10,000 meters. We still have some women's 10,000 and men's 10,000 action to come before we call it a night from Palo Alto. At least that's what's on the schedule. You see Soka from Cal Baptist finishing down in 10th, 11th position. Victor Kiprop, Evans Kiplagat from New Mexico in the mix during the course of the race. So a good heat in the men's 10,000 meters, and it is won by Evan Jenkins of the University of Washington. We have more 10,000 meter action to come, and we'll get to it. First, we'll take a short timeout. It's the Stanford Invitational on FloTrack.